native plants are an important addition to the home garden. Today what we're gonna do is take out the mulch between the trees, but allow the wood chips to stay around the drip zone or the root zone of the tree, but the rest of the landscape is gonna be dedicated to native plants. And in this lesson, we're gonna talk about the importance of making sure you've got native landscapes in your home garden. Let's get started. So the first thing I've done is excavate the original sprinkler line that was used to irrigate the lawn. We're using this irrigation line just to water initially the native plants and seeds that we're going to be introducing. Furthermore, as we continue down, we're also going to be adding some sprinkler line over here. We're going to create a T and bring some irrigation to other zones in the garden. As you can see, we've trenched down this way as well. We've got this entire mound of soil that we're then going to have to level. We've got some electrical work that we're also going to have to improve. So as you can see, we removed all of the wood chips before we did any work in this zone, and now we've just got to peel back the remainder of the wood chips here on the front lawn. This entire mound will then be broadcast over the entire food forest in about a 1 to 2 inch layer. Whoever said gardening was easy? So in a few short minutes, we're going to begin seeding our property with tens of thousands of these wildflower seeds, which include somewhere between 16 to 20 different varieties of annual and perennial seeds. I'm going to share with you where I got them from in just a minute. But what we're going to do first is we're going to plant. And I know that we've dedicated our entire front property to California native plants specifically, and it's something that I wouldn't just recommend. It should be a must for every single homeowner and for every new development to consider integrating native plants into their landscape and into their community gardens to help support the other animals and insects that once lived there for millions of years before we came and leveled those properties to bring our homes into it. And the least we can do is dedicate at least islands of habitat to support those native insects and those hummingbirds and birds that existed for tens and hundreds and millions of years before we ever came. So it's the least we can do as home gardeners is dedicate some of that property to the native fauna and flora. In addition to the wildflower seeds that we're going to be introducing behind us, I'm also going to be incorporating some bulbs as well, such as daffodils. And the smaller ones are a different color daffodil. And then there's even some smaller ones here that are crocus. And these are very fragrant and colorful. So I'm integrating some things that are not native to the California landscape. But as you can see here, I've got a palm tree that's not native. There's a citrus tree just behind me, the Nagami kumquat. I've also got an olive tree, which is native to the Mediterranean climate. So instead of having a landscape like most, where 99 to 100% of their landscapes are dedicated to non-native plants, we've got, whether it's 90% of our landscape that's non-native, we're dedicating at least 5 to 10. And in this instance, almost the entire front property landscape is dedicated to native plants. And there's a few more in the backyard that I'm going to share with you as well. What I want to do with you next is share with you how the Ivory Organics 3-in-1 plant guard protection against damaging sunburn, insects, and rodents can help your bulbs more successfully germinate. And it's for use, as you can see on your can, for your fruit and nut trees, ornamental trees, and shrubs. And it should have also and bulbs, as this has been very successful for growers for use in organic production and healthier than latex paint and tar-based products. Now also OMRI listed. And what I want to share with you here on this flyer, for the last year, for pretty much all the orders that have gone out, this flyer has been included, which you can also find at ivorganics.com as a downloadable link. And it talks about the importance of using Ivory Organics 3-in-1 plant guard for your cloning and transplanting, for your outdoor growing, for rodent repellent protection, for insect repellent protection. And it talks about all of the 7 oils that are in there, including diatomaceous earth, which also is another added insect repellent protection. And then with the testimonials, and this is specifically what I want to share with you when it comes to bulbs, is this last one I want to read with you together. It says, I planted tons of fall bulbs, and a week later they were eaten by critters. I replanted the bulbs and dipped them before planting, and I used a 1-gallon plastic bag to coat the bulbs in by shaking it before planting. It's been over a month and no critters have been eating my bulbs. I am very happy with this product and will use it each year before I plant my bulbs in the ground. And that was from an Amazon gardener. And so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna take our gallon Ziploc bag, and I just wanna share with you, this here is an unopened can. What you can see here on the back is the oils that are here, which include castor and cinnamon and clove, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, and spearmint, all natural oils that naturally repel those insects and rodents. And I've got here the mixed solution. I've got about a half a can from a gardening project I did in the backyard. And all I'm gonna do is simply put some of this solution. I don't need much. I've got a half a can. I'm probably gonna use a quarter of it, like so. I'm gonna put a little bit more. And now what I can do is simply take all of my bulbs and we're simply gonna dip them like so. So you can see we got about a half a bag of bulbs here. I'm actually gonna fill it up even more just to make the point. Let's continue filling this bag up. So you can see we pretty much filled up the bag. We're gonna seal it, and now we can just toss it, like so. Now all been covered with the Ivory Organics 3-in-1 plant guard, protecting them predominantly in this instance, not so much from sunburn as it will as an insect and rodent repellent protection. And I just want to highlight one more time that one of the ingredients here in the very back you can see includes diatomaceous earth, where anything with an exoskeleton that tries to bore through one of these bulbs and try to eat through, it's going to pretty much scratch its exoskeleton and shorten the life of that insect. However, earthworms are safe from diatomaceous earth, and that's a good thing. And now let's set them out to dry. So the next thing we can do is just take our bulbs out and leave them out to dry. I'm carefully pulling out the bulbs because I know I'm going to end up with some more solution and I'm going to be able to use for another product. So I'm being careful here, pulling out each of the individual bulbs. This here are the crocus bulbs. I'm gonna put those out right there, those little ones. And I've still got a little more solution that I can be using for the next project right down there. So these here that I started a few minutes earlier have already started to dry. And what we're gonna do is simply plant these now in our planting hole. It's always advisable when planting bulbs to put them in groups of at least 3, possibly up to 5, as it'll just be that much more dramatic when they go to bloom. So we've started the hole over here. We're gonna plant our tulips a little deeper than the crocus. So we're just gonna position the bulb here, 1 and 2 and 3. Hoping you can capture that. And now we're just gonna backfill it. And right in front of it, and a lot more shallow, I'm gonna bring those crocus. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3. And we'll cover those up. And we're done. I'm just now gonna finish the rest of the bulb plantings throughout sporadic parts of our front landscape. And let's get to planting those native flower seeds. And now for the fun and the easy part, planting the wildflower seeds. And as you can see here, and I'm going to share this link with you, I bought these seeds from Eden Brothers, and I found a pretty good price on Amazon. And you can see it's 100% pure seeds, specifically formulated for the Southwestern wildflower seed mix. 1 pound of them. I gave half of them away at a lecture I did a couple of weeks ago. And I just want to share with you, maybe this coupon will work for you as well. It came with, thank you for your order, and use this coupon code for 10% off your future order. You just simply have to type in loyal customer at checkout and take 10% off, something I didn't get when I placed the order, and hopefully you get luckier with that. What we're going to do now is simply plant these seeds, and it's as simple as pinching a handful of these. And again, there's about 16 to 20 different varieties of wildflowers in this mix. And let me just share with you what it looks like before they go into the ground. So you can see all those different colors, seeds, different shapes and sizes, and all of those represent different flowers. And all we're simply going to do, I'll do this here in front of you, is we'll simply pinch an area like that. And I've just seeded about a 3x3 area, 9 square feet. Still got a ton of seeds. And just to get them in the ground, we're simply going to scratch the surface about 1/4 of an inch. Half the seeds might still look like they're on the top. Half of them are still going to be at the bottom. Once we turn on the irrigation sprinkler system, in addition to the fact that we've got 2 days of natural rain that's going to help further facilitate the germination rate of all of these seeds, we're going to be in luck here, and I'm going to get to share that success with you. So let me just continue now planting this entire area. Something I just noticed with this bag, and something to be aware of when getting a mix of seeds, is you're going to notice some of the smaller seeds, which is another variety of flower, are going to sink to the bottom. So be aware of that as you continue to broadcast, that you try to get one area and then another distant area while you're still near the surface. And as you get to the bottom half with the smaller, more fine and even dense seeds, make sure you come back to those other areas you originally seeded to make sure you get some of those smaller seeds in between. So we're going to continue with that. And again, one last reminder is that this mix has a combination of both annual and perennial seeds, meaning the annuals will give you a beautiful bloom throughout most of the year, but at the end of the year will die back, leaving plenty of seeds to rejuvenate those colors for the following year. But the perennials will remain green year after year and just keep your landscape looking wonderful, again, from year to year without a dead period over the winter. So this mix has that balance between annuals and perennials, so you'll get to enjoy beautiful colors. And obviously the ones that thrive and do the best will be what you and your property will get to enjoy the most. So let's continue. So in as little as 3 to 5 days, and as long as at about 21 days, you're gonna start enjoying these beautiful germination. And over here, we've got the California poppies that are sprouting first. This is something you can do if you're in a winter that doesn't have a freeze, as we are here in Los Angeles, and a lot of the southern climates throughout the South United States can begin doing stuff like we're doing right now. And for those of you that live in warmer climates where there isn't a chance of frost during the winter months, as we are here in Los Angeles, and for the rest of you in the southern United States warmer climates, you can begin planting and sowing your native wildflower seeds. Even though I'm sharing with you over here some California native sproutlings, if you're in New York, look for your native New York flowers. Don't be planting California poppies unless that's something that you want, but that's not going to benefit that native wildlife and habitat that exists surrounding your home and your community. So look for those plants, and you can quickly research and Google that information that'll help you find the native plants closest to your home and your community that'll benefit the surrounding wildlife and habitat that surrounds you. And I hope all of you are motivated and encouraged to do so right now. Again, for those of you in the warmer climates, as I'm doing here this middle of November, and for those of you in cooler climates, this is something you can do immediately after your last chance of frost has passed, is to get out there and sow your wildflower seeds, both annuals and perennials, so you can enjoy year after year of beautiful success, not just to your home and your garden, and the benefits that all of these native birds and native insects are going to bring in pollinizing your now home vegetable garden, which includes your tomatoes and your peppers and your squash, as well as your fruit trees, your lemons, your peaches, your apricots, and so much more. So this will benefit so much more than just your surrounding habitat and native wildlife. This is going to benefit your home garden as well. So I hope all of you are motivated and inspired to do so and get out there and continue gardening, especially if you live in a warmer climate as we do here. And if you found this video informative and educational, as always, please give us that thumbs up. And most importantly, don't forget to subscribe and hit that push bell notification to stay connected to all of our educational lessons as they become made available. And as always, keep growing with Ivory Organics. Wishing you all happy gardening.